and I'll be sharing my screen. Alright, on this I'm just going to do one thing. I'm going to start afresh. When I'm saying afresh, is this is going to be a part of video that you are going to be referencing with when you'll be doing a project of topographic map. So on this I'm going to use ArcMap, and in ArcMap why I'm starting afresh is that I want to build everything from scratch, and I don't want anybody to have issue when you're creating your frames. So that is why I'm saying that this is another aspect or important aspect of what we're going to be doing. So on a quick one, I'm going to get the data we're going to use. The data we're going to use is the default data we have been using. So I'm going to use Nigerian map, and the Nigerian map I'm going to use is Nigerian state, and I'm also going to use Nigerian local government. So this is what I want you to understand now. So at any point in time, you should notice this, and I'm going to make sure I explain everything one by one, and that is why I want to create this a fresh folder, and I am going to write it. I'm going to write a study area map. And why am I putting it in different folder? In here I'm going to create a folder. I'm going to name ArcMap, and also I'm going to create a new folder where I'm going to export my map, and then I'll bring it here. Then I'll come down here and create a blank page. I'm going to navigate to the location of where this ArcMap is, copy the directory here because I want to get there fast. I'm going to paste it and it will take me here, and I'm going to put it study area, and I'm going to save it. Now I have this here and it is saved as study area. Then our data is the same data we are going to use, but there is no need for me downloading it because all of us knows how the data come from. So I'm just going to step a bit backward and then bring in the data here. So I'm going to where I save the data. I remember where I saved it again, but I think it should be in the folder I named this, and then I'm going in here to look for Nigeria admin. Now this is the Nigeria admin data location. This is what I'm going to use. So I'm coming here to copy the directory, which I'm going to copy, and here I will come to ArcMap. The normal way we'll add our data, I'm going to paste this because I need the location of this. Now I'm going to select the Nigerian local government, and I'm also going to select the Nigerian state. This is two things I need for now, and I'm going to click add. Now this data is here. Then in here I'm going to switch this down because this is what I want to use first. Now I have a Nigerian map shapefile, as you can see. Now switch this over it. I have a Nigerian state. I'll turn off this and this stays here, and then this comes here like we know. Now I'm not going to do a chloroplate map or something complex, but I just want you to understand how you can use different film. Now when I switch to this like this, then I have switched to layer, which I can also do by switching data view to layer view. So data view I will turn back to way normal. Layer view, this is when I'll be able to add anything I need to add. Now in here I am going to change this to the print view. I'm going to change it to landscape, and I'm going to click OK. Now in here I have a Nigerian map here, so I can decide to arrange this in where I want to arrange it. This is where I wanted to take a critical look at me and what I'm doing. So if I zoom to layer on this, I'm going to have a Nigerian map here. So I want to create a study area map. I'm going to have a Nigeria on top here. I'm going to have Enugu down here. I'm going to have the study area down here. Now I'm going to choose this way as it is. Then I'm going to do the same thing I used to do, zooming close to one corner of this, click on the grid one, select one, I choose one here, and I'm going to choose 3, that is 1 to 3. I'm going to choose 1 to 3, I'll click. Then I'll go down to the end of it this way because I want to have the same interval in both right and left. Then I'll go down to this place, the downside, the top down, click on 1 here, count 1 2 3, click here, click 1 here, count 1 2 3, click here, and then I have the same interval in both right and left. I hope we are together. Are we together?
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to drag this thing to merge with this. It will automatically be snapping. I don't need to stress much on this. Now I have put in, now you can see here I have Nigerian shapefile here already in place. Then I can zoom to layer and fit it in here. Now I'm going to be using something here. What I'm going to use is, if I'm going to give you a practical example. If you look at the scale here, I want to make this scale on 0 0. This is what I'm going to be doing. See, I just made this thing on 0 0. Now what I'm saying is that if I return back to this place now, I'm going to data view. Maybe there is something I change. I say, oh, I need to come back to it, and then I go back to this and zoom this to this. Now if I switch back to data view, what will happen? This will happen to me. It means I still need to return back to what? Zoom again to layer, and you see I have to, this is not in order. What am I going to do? I'm going to do something like this. I have chosen this to be my primary scale. I'm going to bookmark. I say create a bookmark, and I'll put this thing Nigeria. I'm going to write this place as Nigeria. Now what does it mean? Even if I return to data view 20 times and zoom this to this way, and then return back to this, and it is zoomed to this extent, what I need to come to bookmark, click on the Nigeria bookmark, it must return back to the same scale I bookmark it. Nothing will change. It will come back to that particular layer only on this data frame. Pick this point. I'm going to another thing. Now I'm going here now, somewhere here, to click on 6, and I'm going to count 1 2 3 because I want to separate this with the next thing I'm going to do. Now this is going to come in this way. I'm going to drag this to snap it with this, and this stops like this. Now this is a frame for Nigerian shapefile. Now if you look here, the way it is, I am just going to go to the bookmark here, go to manage bookmark, and I will right click on Nigeria, and I will say update extent because I have made a little change on this. Now I will return back to this place again. Then here I can decide to drag this thing a bit up. Now I have changed. This is the way I want Nigerian shapefile to be. I can also go here to make sure that nothing changes, even no matter how I come to scatter this, everything is in order. The next thing I'm going to do, there are two things I'm going to do. Either, now I am teaching you because this is in a geographical coordinate system, as we all know. You see it here, it's in geographical coordinate system. You can also use UTM in a data frame. If you have a data in UTM, that you can use different coordinate system when you are working on this. Now what am I going to do? I can click on this and do copy, and then I will click on this, go back to new data frame, and then I can paste this. But for this case, I'm just going to click on the map as it is selected. I'm going to click on copy, and I'm going to click on Ctrl V and Ctrl C. That is Ctrl C and V is what I did. Now I'm dragging this thing down here. When I drag it down here, this is layer 2. I am going to properties or double click on it, and I'm going to rename it to Enugu. Now I'll click OK. This layer become Enugu layer, as you can see here. Now what am I going to do? I can decide to break this thing here. You can see where this thing stops, so I can take it up here and break it here, and then I will still count 1 2 3 if I want to do the same thing and put up this, so that this frame will stop here and this frame will also stop here. Now why am I leaving this gutter by the right? Because I know I'm going to add grid, so I want everything to be the same size and the same focus. You see here, now if I click, because I selected on this layer, layer of Enugu, if you go to bookmark, you see this Nigeria. But if I click on this, what I'm saying is that when you're acting on a layer, remember that the bold selected one, let me remove this selection. The bold selected one is the layer which it is existing. Look here, if I click on this, the bold one will come to Enugu. So another way to get it done is right click on the layer and go to activate. Click on activate, it will switch to that particular layer. So what I mean is that any effect you make on scale is working on this. If you want to add a legend, and it is going to work on the layer which is selected, which is activated. That's the layer. Everything you're going to add is going to work on it. So now I am in Enugu. I want to add Enugu map here. What am I going to do? Remember, everything in this layer, I have duplicated it into this layer. So what am I supposed to do here? I will check off the states and I will turn on this. Now, remember what we need to do here. I'm going to use select by attribute. And I'm going to Nigerian state. Remember, we have name 1. I'm going to look for a unique value and I'm going to look for Enugu. So I'm going to look for all the local government in Enugu. Apply. And that is going to query Enugu for me. And then I'm going to click OK. No, do you see the problem now? Enugu is not selected. Now Enugu have not been selected because of this. So if I turn off this, I'm here, I turn it on. Now remember what we do, either you select it by here or you go here and look for name 1 here. This is name 2, this is name 1, and name 1 you can decide to sort it alphabetical order. There are different ways you can get this done. So if you sort it alphabetical order, you scroll down to where you see Enugu, which Enugu should be somewhere here. You click on the first one and then you hold shift, click on the last place you see Enugu, and the last place you see Enugu is here. You can see here, and you close it up here. Enugu have been selected. Now in this case, I am just going to export this. I don't want to create a new layer. Then I'm going to click here. Now quickly to go to where I am, where I save this data, I will click home and it will take me to where I save this data. So I'm going to type it in Enugu and click OK. Then it will ask me, do you want to add it? I will say yes. Now in this way, I've created a new layer for Enugu. Clear selection. I will click on this to check off this. Now I have created a new data frame for Enugu. What am I supposed to do? I'm going to zoom the layer. Now this is the size of Enugu. Now you can see this is Enugu size. What am I going to do? I'm going to adjust this to make it in a whole number. So I'm going to change the scale here. I put 0, 0, 0, 0 and press enter. And this is normal. I want to change it to 7 instead of 8, and that is going to increase the size. You can see here, this is better for me and it is more okay for me. Now I have to save this. Normally if you don't have good system that is working fast, you need to save this. Then this line here, I don't know when I made a mistake and add this, so I'm going to declare a grid line. Now I'll click here to zoom to the size of the paper. Now this is Enugu here, this is Nigeria here. The next thing I need to do here is that I can select this layer of Enugu and I'm going to do Ctrl C and Ctrl V. Then it will paste me a new layer down here. I'll drag the new layer and put here. Now in dragging this new layer, I'm going to take it here because I want it to fill in this space. Now in here, I'm going to look for a local government that is long because I want to use it. So I'm going to probably select this local government here. So to select, I can select it manually by clicking on the local government. I don't know the local government, so I will use identify to know the name of the local government because I want to export it. So it's in Kano East. That is the name of the local government. So, and what am I going to do? I can decide to say open attribute information. This is it here. Right click here and say zoom to, so that I will see the way it will show on the paper. So in this case, you can see the way it shows on this paper, which is perfect for me. I'm going to do export here and export the data, open the location, and I will save it in Kano East. Kano East. Then I'm going to click on save. Now this is this, and I will add it to layer. Now I'll turn off this and it will only remain on Kano East here. You can see I can zoom to layer. Now in zooming to layer, you can see the way it is. This is where I want to put it up here. Then I can adjust this thing here, put it a scale by maybe making it into 0.3, and this is okay. 380, I can reduce it to 370 because I want it to be to the edge of the paper. It's still space, I can make it 350, and then it is almost at the edge, too much, so let me make it 360,000. That will make it perfectly. Now this one is to pan around. See the one panning around? This one here, any place you see this one that have plus sign is different from this. This one is paper. This is paper. This is the map. I don't know where you create your own or where your own is, but this particular one that have 0, this zoom extent is for the map. The data Whereas this one that have this plus sign with hand by this other side with paper is for paper. Take note of this. Now you see in here, I am going to click on this layer, go to bookmark and create Nkano East, then save it. Then I'll click. If you see these things, you see this one I'm calling. If I click on this now, it will carry my this in one side. So I need to drop it and pick the normal one. Then click on this. I can go to bookmark and create. You see now I create on this Nkano is here. Do you know why? Because I copied the properties of Nigeria into Nkano here. So I can delete this for this layer. Now I can decide to go to manage this and remove Nigeria here for the layer of Nkano, because the reason is that this inherited Nigeria in it. If I click on this, you will still see that Nigeria will be here because it inherited Nigeria in it. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to manage this, and I'm going to put these properties now. I'm going to right click and I'm going to rename it to Enugu. And then I'll click somewhere else, right click again and say update extent. Now it will automatically pick it for Enugu. So now these are 3 things I have done. 1, 2, 3, I've created the map frame the way it is. Now in another way around, what is remaining here for me is to put other marginal information. What are these marginal informations? Number 1 is in Nigeria map, I can decide to create it like this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show Enugu. Now in Enugu, I am going to Nigerian layer. So let me rename this also to make it in Nigerian layer so that you know the layer I refer. Anytime I say layer, know the one I'm referring to. I'm going to Nigerian layer. Now the first thing I need to put is I need to put the grid. Now in putting the grid, I'm going to properties. Now in properties, I'm going to grid here. I'm going to click here. For me, I will click next. I already know what Nigeria is located. I like using 3 for Nigeria. If I am in this show, I'm going to click next and click apply, and that shows me Nigeria in this format, grading in this format. What else am I going to do? Grid, graticle, go to properties here. It will open. Here I like using this, and I like using this size 12. I'm going to make it bold. I'm going to rotate this thing right. Rotate this thing right. Orientation here. Rotate it right and left. Now this is axle. There is nothing that I need to do here for now. For me, interior, nothing. Label, this is where I made changes. Then here, line is this line that you can see here that crosses here. If I wanted a dash line, I'll go here and select a dash line. It depends on the type of map I'm producing. I like using this, and I will change it to gray about 40%. And I click OK. In hashing, there is no need you doing this. In intervals, this is where I put 3, 3. If I change this thing from 3 to 4, it will count 0, 6 plus 4 plus another 4, but I want it 3, 3. Once I am done, I will click OK, apply, and this is fixed up. I am done on this. As you can see, I use the gray, and you see here, this is on this one. Now, there is things I want you to notice. If I change this, you can see this is 3 to 12. I am not comfortable with the x-axis because it doesn't open the way it is, the way I like it. You see here, I like the way this is, but I don't like the way this one is. I can decide to make this thing 4, 4. If I make 4, 8, 12, that is 4 here, 4 is around here, 8 is around here, the next thing is 12 here, and the next thing is going to count another number. So if I want to change the x-axis, that is x-axis, I'm going to right click on it, go to property, edit here, and I'm only going to change the x part here. The x, I'm going to change it into 4, click apply, and click OK. And you see it have changed it to 3, 3. This is how I want it to be. Now another thing is that, you know, if I put on Kano East now, it will be overlapping with this grid. I'm going to turn off the downside and the upside. So to do this, I'm going to right click on the map again, go to properties. Now remember this here, in this graticle, go to properties here. Now click on labels and turn off label axis. Now I want to turn off down, I'm going to remove down. I want to turn off the left hand side, I'm going to remove left hand side. With this, I will only have the right and the left here. Now I am done with Nigeria. I'm going to Enugu. In Enugu, I'm going to label the down and this side. I don't want to label inside here because I want this one to, the main map, to have the label in front. But this Enugu, I don't want to have it. So for me, I selected Enugu. I'm going to right click. And when I right click, add grid. Now Enugu approximately, I'm going to use 1, 1. So I'm going to click next. Here it is 1 degree, 1 degree. Next, 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 next. I don't care. I'll click apply. I'll take this by one side to see how it is. And I see that I like the way it is in Enugu, but I want the y-axis to have another 1 across it, because this is 1, 2. I want this one to have this across it. So I'm going to properties, and then I want the y-axis to increase. I'm going to line here. I'm also going to change this into a little line here, the way I did in Nigeria. I'm going to make, I like using 6.6. I'm going to change it to 40% gray. Click OK. Go to label here, change this into the same area board, and then I'm also going to make this into 12, that I use the other board in it. And then in axis rotation here, I'm not going to label the top, and not going to label the left hand side. So I'm going to have the bottom and the right hand side. Then in intervals here, I have intervals here. In the y-axis, this is 1. So I am going to make this thing 0 and make this one 40 degree. Then I'm going to click OK. I'm going to click apply. Then you see Enugu have been created in this way. So I have, this is 1, 2, 3. Okay. I need to touch in y-axis. So I'm going to y-axis, and then this is y-axis. I'm also going to make it 40, and then change this thing to 0. And in orientation here, I'm going to orient this particular right hand side. So I'm going to label, and then click on orient to the right, click apply, click OK, click, and this will be oriented. As you can see, this is perfectly oriented. Then this is not touching the way I want it to touch, so I am probably going to make this to be at the center. So what am I going to do? Intervals, I'm going to change y-axis to 30 degree, 30 minutes, sorry. Click apply, and I have this input to 1, 2, 3, and I click OK. Now I'm done with Enugu. I'm returning now to the main map. I click on this, right click on it, or the same thing, click on it. This is Nkano East, so let me rename this thing to Nkano East. Then I can right click here, go to properties, the same thing I'm doing. Then I'm going to add new grid. I'm going to click next. This is 10, 10. It makes 10 and 30, but automatically I'm going to click next until I finish. And then I'm going to click apply to see. Oh, that's too much. You can see I like the y-axis, but I don't like the x-axis. So I'm going back here to go to x-axis. What happened to x-axis? X-axis is too much. So I'm going to change this one to 10. As you can see, and return this one to 0. And click OK. And then preview by clicking apply. And I think this is OK. Yeah, for me, I'm choosing this. Going to property again. Then go to here, and I'll change my label axis. I'm going to label all sides. Then into labels, I'm going to orient right and left to change the direction. I'm going to change this to 12. I'm going to make this thing to area bold, holding it, come back to line. I'm going to change this from line. I'm going to make it stop. Okay, let me make this one a cross line. In this way, I'm going to make it a cross line here. See what I'm going to do here. I'm going to make it a plus sign. Click apply to show you what I did. Now I'm putting this plus sign here, the way you can see plus sign across it. Now I'm going here to say under label, I'm going to change this to 12, change this to normal bold neat, and turn this right and turn this left. Click on this, click OK, click apply. That's going to give me this way. This is satisfying, and I think I am okay with this. I'm going to click OK. Now, as you can see, I've formed this map in this way. And if I click on this, it's going to center the map on me. I can click save, click here, export map, and I'm going to click on home to return to the folder of the home. I save this, click backward once, save it at that location I saved earlier, and I'm going to say Nkano East. Then I'm going to put it in PDF for now. then I'm going to save it. Now it is saved. I can go to that location, go to home, and go to recent here, and you can see the map I've created as in Kano East. This is what it is as a study area map. As you can see the way it is, this symbolizes here, and you can see the grid. But I am missing the last. I'm just trying to investigate the map I did. It does not have a neat line at the back of it, so I'm going to insert, click on neat line, and put it inside the margin. Click OK, and that is going to bring in this. Here it changed the color. I don't like the color, I want it to be white. I'm going to properties of this, go to this and change this into none, and here I click OK. Now it is having an offset here. I don't want this offset is having. I'm going to properties, click on it, return this offset to 0, return this offset to 0. Then there is no other offset again, and that's going to emerge here. I will drag it inside here. I will go to the downside of it here. I will also drag it inside here, and then I can click on file and I say export map. Then when I say export map, and I'm going to click on the Kano East and replace it with it again. And once it is finished exporting, I click here and refresh this, and you see the map have a neat line around it. As you can see here, see the neat line around it. What is remaining in our map? This is very far. I don't like it, so something happened here. So let's go to the main map and see why is it far from each other. As you can see here, we have this, see the problem here. So I'm going to click on this and the map of the main study area and drag it, and it will snap here. Now this is perfect. Now what is remaining here, I will return here and click on insert again, selecting this one, click on insert, and I can see bring it into what are we going to add. Let's add the scale, and in scale I like using this type of scale. Then I'll drag it here, put it down here, zoom close to it. It is in mice. I will right click to it, and then when I right click to it, I will change this thing to kilometer or meters depending on the size. Click apply, it will change to meters. As you can see, this is trying to match with the scale up here. Then in this case it is not suiting to what I want, but I can click OK and bring this thing, drag it here to here, and it is under here. And I think if I'm okay with this, I will leave it here. If I'm not okay, person like me that I putting colors under it, I will right click, go to properties, if I like color, go to frame, open up here, and I can select gray 10%, click apply, and it will add color under it. Now I can click OK. Then in this I can drag this a bit so that it will not be touching this body of the map. Now I've added this. What is it remaining? I can click on insert, click on here, not arrow, and I can click on this and click OK. Then I can take this not arrow that you see here, sorry, and then reduce the size and then put it at the appropriate place. So I'm reducing the size of the not arrow and putting it here. Now I don't want to put not an arrow in Nigeria. If you want to do it, you put it the same way you want to put it. The same way I put the not arrow on this one, that's the same thing you're going to do. What else am I going to do? I want to label here. Now in labeling, there are ways I can make the labeling. Manual labeling is by clicking on this thing here. It is the tools that are accompany. If you right click here, this is draw. If you click or right click and click here, you will see this here. So I'm going to click the A here, and I'm going to remove this text and drag it Kano East. Now this is, I press escape and then drag this thing here. Now I want to beautify this. So to make the beautification, click on change symbol here. Then when you reach here, you can change this to bold, to whatever you want. I want to make this into 18, and I'm going to click a bit symbol here. I want to put halo. Now look at this. Halo I want to put is that I want to change this. This is showing me white halo. I want to make the halo to something like what color do you want? Let me make it to something like red and click OK. Now this is halo in red. I'll reduce it to 1. Click apply, click OK, and click OK, and that change in Kano is to this color. Now in this case I want to retain the same color. I can copy it. If it is something I need to label, take this one, take it up here. Now add here, go to properties and type this in Nigeria, then click here OK, that is edited, copy this, paste it, zoom out, take it here, put it up here, right click here, go to properties. I will rename this thing and type it Enugu. Are we still together? I'll put it up here and write it Enugu. Now this is done. Now what if in the map that I want to add other relations here? What I'm going to do is that I'm going to go down here and turn on Enugu on this layer. Now this is Enugu here. As you can see, this is Enugu. It's turning up this layer because this is around the boundary and this is other local government in Enugu. How do I label it? What I'm going to do is that I'm going to right click here, go to here and say label, and then you see it labeling Nigeria here. But I am going to here and say open up here, go to properties and change the label table up to name. That's name 2, which is where the local government is located. Then bold, I can make it 12 and bold in it, click OK, and then you will see it labeling Enugu South. In this case, I can take this and make it hollow, and then this will bring the boundary this way. So as you can see here, click on this and turn this off. That can bring the boundary in like this. What if I don't want it to show me those boundaries? You can go as far as reducing this thing to 0 and then click OK. These names will be here, but you won't see what it is as you can see here. But in this, I don't want to put it, so I'm turning it off. Now what happens if you want to do the same thing here? Remember Enugu is here, so what you need to do is turn on Nigeria State in Enugu here. This will come in, go here, open up here, put it in hollow, then put up this, open up the Nigerian State and label the Nigerian State here. You will see that it will show you this way. So I'm going to Enugu, go to properties, select name 1 because the name 1 is the name from attribute table where the name of the local state is located. Change this thing to bold and then make this thing probably to 12. Bolding this, click OK, and you will see that this is going to show you the boundary state. You can see here Delta, Edo is here, Kogi is here, Enugu, Anambra is the way it is. Now for me, I can leave it like this. Now the next thing I need to do here is everything I need to add up have been added up. Now if you need a road to add up a road, like you can decide to go back a bit. We have talked about this, but let me also break up on it. So I'm going to Nigerian data set where we have airport and rest of them. So I need Nigerian road or railway, so I can put Nigerian road. Click on this and you see this is a Nigerian road. You can add this thing as a road. Now what I want to talk about a bit before we stop is how do I highlight Enugu on Nigerian map. So I'm going to turn off road for now. How do I highlight Nigerian map? There are 2 ways you can do it. The first way you can do it is by Enugu here, which is here. If I want it to have the same color, I can just drag this into Nigeria and that's highlighted Enugu up for me. This is the first way. Now, but the second way you can do that is I can go to Nigerian State here, which I'm using, go to properties here. Now, and then go to symbology, go to category, and I am going to open up here and choose the name and click add all. And when I click add all, then I will go here and look for all of them. Select the beginning, go to the end, select the end, go to Enugu, which I am interested in, select Enugu, and right click here and say group all this. Name this one as other state. Then this one still retain Enugu. Click OK. Now return back to this. Now you see that Enugu is highlighted differently. Return back to this, open up this, still select this to maintain the Nigerian state, and then you have this selected, highlighted Enugu different. The same thing you do here, you can check here, you see that Enugu is being highlighted with the particular number, then this is okay. Then you can turn on Enugu now if you want. You see the way Enugu is. Now the problem is that if you go to insert, let me select Nigeria state, go to insert, then go to legend here. You add a legend to Nigeria. See, you have a Nigerian state. If you click on the adding legend until you go to the end, you're going to build a legend that is going to put the Nigerian state here. Now, what happens here? It repeated Nigerian state when you say Nigerian state has been highlighted here. What are you going to do? Right click on the legend here go to properties of the legend, take this up here, go to items here. You can select all items, or we can do this later. So let me go to properties here and go to items, go to frame, and you get to frame. I want to put a frame on it, so I want to put the frame here and click apply. That gives me the color. Then what else do I need to do? I can go to size, go to this one, this is items, right click on Enugu here, or right click on Nigerian state. Now I don't want this name Nigerian state to show on name 1. Right click on Nigerian state, go to property, turn off name layer, turn off agent layer, click apply, that will go. Now it is repeating Enugu into 2. What are you going to do? Click on Enugu, right click on Enugu, go to general, where you have Enugu here. You can decide to right click on this Enugu. Now by leaving this, remove this Enugu on top. Remove Enugu on top by clicking this. Enugu come back to the main Nigerian state. Click apply, then you have that state and Enugu. Now click OK. Now how do you replicate this? This is not showing the same number. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on here, go to properties. Then I want this to show the same color it's showing here because I put something on top of it. Click on Enugu here. You see Enugu. If you say import, you can import Enugu, and you see that Enugu is going to replace this. So I'm going to click cancel because I don't want to change it. So in this way, you can look for the same color of Enugu having here, and click on blue, click apply, and that replaces the color of Enugu and other state, and that is also done here. If you want the legend to be at the center, right click on it, go to properties here, where you have legend here, where you have labels here, click on here to edit. No, go to general, click on edit symbol here, click on edit properties, then change this thing to, if you want it to be here, click on this formatting, change this thing to all cap. You can also make this thing all cap, return here to general tab and make it at the same, not this center. Return, make this thing at the center here, it be at the center. Now click apply, click OK, to place legend at the center and make it on the cap lock. Now this is this here. Now the next thing I want to talk about before we do, we're on top of our time. If you want to put Nigerian state, the same principle apply on this. I want you to do the same application here. The next thing is to right click on the Nigerian state here. As you can see, click on label, and then that's going to label the Nigerian state, and you see it is not properly labeled. So I'm going to right click on the Nigerian state, go to the properties, and when I get to the properties here, I'm going to go to label tab, go to name 1, because from the attribute table it is name 1. We have studied this earlier. So I'm going to click on bold and click apply, and then if you check it now, you see Ebony anyways label is too much, so I'm going to reduce it to like 10. Go to placement and say always straight, and then remove duplicate label or one label per of this thing, so that it will remove the ones that are overlapping. And I have Anambra Enugu in this order. Click on this, it will center it. Now this is Enugu map, this is the local government map. Then what if somebody asks you, I need you to put an arrow to it? Now let me save this, and that's the last thing I'm going to do. Let me export. I'm going to export it and then save it on Canon place, yes, and then I'll come down and see the export file. Go here and refresh it. You see it's remaining, it's coming, and you see I have the map of Nigeria in this way with the names, the boundary local government, and then go in here. Now I'm returning back to it here a bit. Now when I return back to it here, and I'm going to like okay, so I'm returning back to it, and we have this to put an arrow. Now somebody wanted to reflect where this is showing. Remember, this person wanted to highlight Enugu Nkano here. What you could just do is come here, look at Nkano, drag Nkano on top of Enugu, and that's going to highlight the same color this one have across here. Then they put an arrow, go to here, it is on the draw tools. I've shown you where the draw is. Change this into line or ellipse. I'm going to use curve line, so I'm going to change this into curve. Now in the curve, I'm going to use click here, click on the center, click on where it wanted to curve. This is the way you put an arrow. Now you can drag this. What I mean by arrow is, let me show you what I'm saying a bit, because we are running out of time. I don't want to keep you longer, so I'm just going to show you example of what I mean by arrow. So I'm going down to here. Which map did I produce last today? I'm going to menu, I'm going to maps, and then I'm going to use it to show you what I mean by an arrow in a moment. This is what I mean by arrow. If you look at this map here, you see this, I'm putting this to point here, and I'm putting this to point where it is located. So this is what I mean by arrow. So if you want to put your own that way, you can put it that way. There are different other ways you can get these things done. So your own is put it based on what the way how you want it to be. So depending on the specification the person asks you to do, so you can do the same thing in here, and it works that way. So whichever we want to put to the arrow, put up the arrow. But just to understand what I'm saying, so this is what you are going to do in the arrow. You can put it the way and design it with the properties. So but all the thing, this is the way it's supposed to be, and you can decide to label here as Enugu North, like Enugu local government. So this is where I am going to stop. Just notice this, you already know how to clip, assuming you want to add the root, like you see here, the way the root pass here, and you want to clip it. We have talked about this. The same root, if I plug this root Enugu, Enugu will have root. If I plug this root in Nigeria, Nigeria will have root. I don't need those wrapping, so I'm going to remove this. I'm also going to remove this, and then I will leave. I'm also going to remove this. So once I do this, sorry, I'm going to remove this and turn on Enugu Kano East, and then you can see the map we produce here. So on this, so you can see in Kano East here, which is our study area now. Do anybody have question? Do you have anything to ask me? Are you still with me here?
Yes. Yes. But I don't have any question.
All right. Okay, so I think I'll be stopping here for now. So since we don't have any question, so thank you, and then we'll keep in touch and see you next time.